Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to Behind the Veil, a show that provides insight into the world of people, events, and weddings. And I am so excited. I'm just like literally beside myself because our guest today is a returning favorite. Her name is Sara Margulis. She is the CEO and founder of Honeyfund. And if you don't know what Honeyfund is, you need to find out, and we'll talk about it more. But before I bring her on, let me bring on my co-host, Marcy Gutenberg, with an affair to remember by Marcy. It's so nice to catch up. In it, like we're like talking offline and we're kibitzing, and I'm just like,
I know,
I'm so
chatting, and the next thing you know,
excited
it's
and we're like, oh wait, we have a show to do. Let's get off the phone. Let's stop talking to Sara. Like, get on, do the show. Yeah, I'm super excited about this because Honeyfund. I mean, honestly, we talked to Sara a couple of years ago and got to hear the whole story about Shark Tank and all of that stuff. And so, if you're watching us today, go back a couple of years, watch that show about her and Shark Tank because it was really, really incredible. But we're not going to be talking about that on this show because we have way too much more stuff to talk about when it comes to Honeyfund and everything that they're doing, right?
Yes.
So let's bring her on. Sara, welcome.
Hi, Sara.
Hey, what's up, Keith? Hi, Marcy. It's so good to be back. You guys are the best.
I am so excited that you're on the show today because I mean, again, it's like connecting with old friends. Because we had such a good time with you on the first show that we did, and now it's like that you're back. And of course, I'm starting to get people are, I guess, logging on to YouTube from Sara's team. So hey, Sara's team.
Yeah, I invited my whole team to watch live today.
So, but I mean, before, oh God, where's my words? So tell people about Honeyfund and you, because your story is really fascinating and how you came up with Honeyfund and what Honeyfund does, because I suggest it to all of my newlyweds, all of them. Anybody getting married, I'm like, okay, you need to get to Honeyfund, make yourself an account and go from there. But tell people a little bit about that.
Yeah. So Honeyfund is a gift registry that makes your dream honeymoon happen with the help of your friends and family. So it's just like any other wedding registry, but instead of sheets and towels and plates and bowls, you can register for your hotel nights, your airfare, your snorkeling adventure, your romantic meal on the beach, whatever is going to make your honeymoon truly a trip to remember. Your friends and family can pitch in and you end up with the cash to go make that dream honeymoon happen.
I see, and that's the part that I'm just like, oh my God, what a brilliant concept, first of all, to come up with, because people like to be able to give an experience. They want to think, oh, table for two out on the beach, amazing, and the couple's like, well, that would be nice, but what if we really didn't want to do it that day and we wanted to do a different day? And this gives you all that flexibility. It's amazing.
Absolutely. It's totally flexible and it's completely fee-free. I don't know if you remember last time we were here, we were talking about, that sort of processing fee of close to 3%. We actually completely eliminated that since we were here last. So couples pay zero for the service. Wow. Friends and family can still pitch in, no fees to them. And it was just, when we finally figured out how to do it, it was like, we were so happy. Like our mission is to make honeymoons happen, and to be able to do that with no fees. It's a huge breakthrough in crowdfunding in general and anything e-commerce, but
it's brilliant. It's brilliant. Seriously, like the fact that it's a completely free service now is amazing. So that tells me that there is a lot that's been going on with Honeyfund in the last couple of years.
Oh yeah, I think we were still pretty in the pandemic last time I was on. We were raising money from our community, our Honeyfund couples and their gift givers and past users who wanted to be part of our mission to make honeymoons happen for more couples and to continue to keep them traveling and keep them supported throughout their marriages. And we raised more than $1.5 million. We expanded the company. This year, our signups are at an all-time high, more than double last year. It's just an incredible, like, post-COVID sort of moment that people want to travel and people want to prioritize their honeymoon. Even over the wedding, there was this article that just came out in the New York Times this weekend about how wedding costs are going way down and people are prioritizing elaborate honeymoons. I mean, what do you guys think of that?
Well, I mean, we were talking a little bit before we went live about, because we just had Tom Chelnick. I always get his last name wrong. Chelnick. Anyway, he's the VP of vendor relations or vendor something for the Knot worldwide. And they just did this big wedding study, and they were talking about the fact that couples are more focused on the experience, not only just for themselves, but for their guests. So wedding counts are going down, the number of people that they're inviting are going down, but the experiences are going up for themselves and the couple themselves, for the guests and the couple. So I get that. I totally get that. And that's what we're seeing here on the ground, is that.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, the idea that life is short, you never know what's going to happen. The idea that we wouldn't be able to leave our homes. I mean, can you imagine? Like, that was so crazy. Like, I still haven't even processed that happened. But I think people for the most part now are like, oh, we're going to leave and we're going to go farther. We're going to go longer. We're going to go more exotic. We're going to do all the experiences, and we're going to blow it out, because we don't know when, something.
This may happen again.
I mean, could happen.
Because now it's become a reality. Sorry, Mercy, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I think that also people don't know, when am I going to be able to do this again? And I think that's the thing. If they know that they're getting away, they're going to make the most out of it now, because they don't know when they're going to do it again.
Exactly. Yeah. We're seeing that show up in the destination trends too. So last year we had Italy took over Hawaii as the #1 honeymoon destination of all time on Honeyfund.
Really?
And then this year we're seeing Japan trending, which I think is really interesting. Like, again, just thinking about going farther, going more exotic, going more different from your day-to-day life.
Yeah.
And I love it. I just love that this is something that I've valued and cared about. And one of the main reasons why we even started Honeyfund was because we needed to get away from the day-to-day and do something elaborate for our honeymoon.
Right.
And travel is just such an incredible part of life. It's just like, the best parts of life, right? Especially with someone you love. And so now that that's becoming more seen and experienced by a wider group of this whole generation of couples getting married today, is just so exciting for me.
Well, and it's becoming accepted. And I think that was the other thing. For a long time before COVID, I mean, we were in this world of, you got to invite your larger family because there's expectations and yada, yada, yada. So you have to, these were have to kind of moments. And then COVID happened and everybody's like, well, screw have to, they didn't have to come to our wedding during COVID. So it's a finger to you, because we're going to do what we want to do. And I love this trend, because I think that people will remember their wedding more so, and they're going to remember their honeymoon more so, because they did go for things that they loved and wanted to be a part to do, versus having to, invite the alcoholic cousin that nobody likes. I mean,
gonna drink up your whole bar tab.
Exactly. And be like, wait, what from one person? How's that possible? But that's what I'm saying. It's like, there was always that one or two family members that everybody's like, oh, you have to invite Uncle Eddie, but he's the double dipper. So, give him his own cheese tray. I mean, it's like that kind of stuff. And I love this trend of now exploring the world. And is that what you're saying? Is that when you're seeing honeymoon trends, you're seeing let's explore the world?
Yeah, let's go to somewhere that we wouldn't normally go. So you're still seeing plenty of, sandals honeymoons and Mexico honeymoons and Hawaii honeymoons, but we're seeing more and more, a bigger percentage of the share is going to, places in Europe that are really all about food and wine and experiences and love and stuff like Italy that we talked about. Also, Croatia and Turkey and
I love Croatia.
And then beyond Europe, now we're even seeing more in Asia, more travel, Thailand, Japan, Bali, places that are just considered so exotic,
what they say is, where the gays go, so does everybody else, right? And so all of my friends are all visiting Thailand and these really incredible out of the way, and I'm like, okay, well, now that I know that they're all doing this, guess what? Because
everyone else will too.
Yeah, because it was Africa first, and then everybody wanted to go to Africa, and then it was Rome, Italy, etc. And that's where everybody going. Next is Japan and Thailand and all those Asian types countries. So I just think that our world is expanding so much. How much of that do you think is based on this kind of stuff? I mean, the fact that we can communicate over long distances with family and friends instantaneous, like, you know, we can do a FaceTime while we're in Thailand and be like, look where we are, kind of thing.
Yeah.
You think that's having an effect?
I do. I think social media in general, Instagram, you know, TikTok, the idea that you know, we want to share our peak moments with people and with the world, and we want to capture them, and we want to memorialize them on social media for anybody to see, and that, like, what gets attention on social is becoming more and more extreme, right? So that means, like, the places you have to go to get attention are going to be more and more extreme in some ways. And I don't think that's necessarily why wedding couples are choosing it, but I think it influences all of us and kind of how we think about the world and where we want to go and the kinds of, like, ideas we'll have for where we want to go.
Well, it normalizes it. It starts to become normal that you're like, well, of course I would want to go to Thailand. So how is Honeyfund expanding in order to meet like this crazy trend? Because obviously it's got to like widen like your possibilities and what you guys do.
Yeah, definitely. So we, first and foremost, always dedicated to making that honeymoon happen. So while we're serving the couples who are going, you know, farther and bigger and longer, we're also really working towards reaching couples that maybe wouldn't take a honeymoon at all, and maybe don't even have social media, or couples who in their families or in the place they grew up, it's not as normal to do that. We're wanting to find ways to reach them and to support them and to educate their friends and family about what a honeymoon is and why it's important. So we launched National Honeymoon Day a couple years ago, which is August 14th. It's 6 months after Valentine's Day.
Oh,
and
smart.
It's just another touch point in your relationship to remind you that honeymoons and honeymoon style travel are actually really important to your marriage, your long-term marriage satisfaction. And our data shows that couples who took a honeymoon are more likely to be happily married more than a decade later than couples who didn't take a honeymoon.
Is that true?
That's according to our research of the general public. So, and also our research of our own Honeyfund couples has backed up that stat. So we're just so excited to be able to talk about the importance of a honeymoon, to be here to fund all the kinds of honeymoons, whether that's a staycation in an Airbnb, or whether that's the trip to Bali or Thailand. Like, we're here for it. We have education around where you can go, how far you can go, what vendors to use, whether you need a passport, like all the nitty gritty stuff that couples need, especially if they haven't traveled a lot.
I love the fact that it's becoming an information center for basically anything having to do with honeymoons. And you know, the nice thing is that these people that may not have normalized honeymoons have not been able to do it in the past and don't know how to explain it to their family, that there is a source that they can go to and be like, here's some touch points that you can use in explaining why this is important and why you want to do it. Because there are still old style thinking out there, like, well, we didn't take a honeymoon. You know, we went right to work.
Totally. And it's funny, if there was one thing that almost every Honeyfund giver says, or what everybody says after they hear about Honeyfund, they say, oh, that's so cool. I wish I had that when I got married.
Right.
And so we're really working hard at Honeyfund to make that something they can actually have. So let's say you never took a honeymoon. You can have a Honeyfund. Even if you've been married for 20 years, we want to be here for you to help your friends and family celebrate that milestone and get you to the honeymoon you never took.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
We have couples who used Honeyfund, but ended up having to put the money towards something else. Like, we have this couple, Ahmad and Joseph. They had to use their Honeyfund for immigration fees for one of the partners. And when we found out that they never got to take their honeymoon, we actually set them up on a trip to Napa Valley with a Leela hotel in Napa, and they just got back, and it was like an incredible trip. And we just couldn't handle the fact that they didn't take their honeymoon. So we just made it happen for them. So this is the kind of stuff we're doing now. We've actually created a whole give back campaign around our mission. We talked about, last time I was here, we talked about like the add-on donation that givers can contribute when they check out on a Honeyfund gift. That's all going towards our mission now, so that we can send couples on these trips, so that we can run the National Honeymoon Day campaign and make sure we're raising awareness about the importance of honeymoons and continue to, bring like amazing solutions to our couples. Like we were just on the phone with Virgin Voyages today. They have an incredible product. If you haven't been yet, you absolutely have to go. Make sure you tell everyone it's your first time. That's my favorite joke when I go on the Virgin Cruise.
Nice.
It was so all adults.
Yeah.
Totally like all inclusive, high-end restaurants, tons of romantic opportunities, beautiful ships, and such an easy price point, like $2,500, for like 4 to 5 nights on a balcony going to the Bahamas out of Miami or whatever. And they're just opening up a ship out of LA now. So great. So this is what we're doing. Like, this is the work we're doing, is we're making sure that we have all the options for all the couples at all the price points and all the desires and wishes and preferences. And bringing that to our audience.
By the way, I was about to say, like, your background looks so perfect that I thought it was one of those like photos. And
no
then
way.
I watched somebody walk up the stairs and I went,
that's my dog. That's my dog. She does this.
I know, it made me laugh because I'm like, nope, that's definitely not a photo. Okay, that's their real place.
I didn't even like totally clean up. I was like, oh, I hope this looks all right.
No, it looks great. Oh my God, it looks great. So what about like trends when it comes to populations? Like, are you seeing a difference between like Gen X, Gen Z, like millennials? Like, are they approaching honeymoons differently than what you've seen in the past? And
yeah, for sure. So, Honeyfund started with Gen X, which is what I am. And we have pretty much served most of millennials at this point. So we're starting to see Gen Z coming in now. Right. I would say millennials definitely were more interested in experiences and more about like the Instagram or the proposals and weddings and honeymoons and all of that. But I think Gen Z, it's even more widespread that the honeymoon is going to be, that travel is going to be the thing that we really value, that we're going to think more about our budget and like what really is going to work for us. At this point, they don't really have a choice. Like, it's just gotten harder and harder with inflation and the rising cost of everything to have any, throw away money for your wedding or your honeymoon for that matter. So they just have, and they're so savvy because they've had access to every tip and trick out there. I talk a lot about my friend Jessica Bishop, the Budget Savvy Bride, and her blog that's been around now for 12 years, and all of the wealth of knowledge she's brought to this generation that didn't exist when I was planning my wedding, so, and that lower guest count is kind of one of those big, things, right? So we're just seeing it now, like they just know how to do it. And they also know that non-traditional is accepted now, right? And that was the work of Gen X and millennials to really kind of like continue to push more non-traditional solutions.
One of the things that we learned during the Wedding Pro, because they had this really great conference, like 1-day conference, which was amazing. But part of that wedding survey was saying that the generation now watched the millennials suffer. They saw them go into debt. They saw them having to move back in with their parents. And they're like, that ain't going to be us. Nope. We're going to be careful about what the money we spend. And they're saving at a much larger rate than any other generation since, since the greatest generation, quote unquote. And I find that really, really fascinating that we didn't even have to go through a great recession for them to see it. They saw it because of COVID and everything that happened. And they're like, nope. Yeah, we want to be special. One of the other things I wanted to ask you is, what about actual like brands, luxury brands versus like, we talked a little bit about this before we went live, talking about like a Ritz-Carlton versus a Hyatt Place kind of thing, and that the reports recently, or the data recently, has been showing that the lower end hotels are having a harder time staying full than the luxury brands. Are you seeing that elsewhere as well in the data points?
Yeah. And I think Marcy kind of made the point there before we came on live that it's about the experience and the customer service, right? It's about what kind of experience am I going to have at this hotel? Like, is there going to be room service? Am I going to have a balcony with a view of something? Am I going to have, poolside cocktails, all the things that make your honeymoon more than just any other trip, right?
Right.
Yeah, I think that's huge. Also, I was shocked. We just surveyed Honeyfund couples that got married in 23 about their honeymoon planning and what websites did they use and did they have a travel agent and where did they go and how much did they spend and all of that stuff. And what we found that just absolutely floored me, it was like 40% of our couples used Airbnb or Vrbo instead of a
Really?
hotel.
Wow.
And when you think about it from the experience standpoint, like you can stock your fridge with all the margaritas and champagne you want, you can cook your own meals, you have the
Right.
privacy, you have,
You can invite friends
complete
over.
access to, like, let's say there's a pool on property, it's all yours, yeah, you can do all that. And especially in places like Europe that are pretty expensive to book hotels, especially a luxury hotel, the
Yeah.
Airbnbs just make it like so much more accessible.
I know when we travel, we now do Airbnbs. I mean, we haven't done it overseas yet, but I mean, anytime that we're in the United States, like we go visit my nephew up in Portland, we always do the Airbnbs now because he's got 3 kids and, we want a playground or a pool that's nearby that we have full access to. And I mean, it just makes much more sense. But it took me a long time. Me a long time to go, you know what, I'm going to try the Airbnb. And then once I did, I'm hooked. I'm totally hooked.
I think this generation is all about it. And again, I think it's more affordable in a lot of ways, not just the cost of the accommodations, but food and things like that too. And it gives them access to more amenities. You can do your laundry in an Airbnb, all that stuff that's like tough to do at a luxury hotel.
What's been the biggest trend that's been the biggest surprise to you? Like, you're accumulating all this incredible data, by the way, which to me, I'm thinking totally selfish ways. I'm like, data, money, I'm like, yeah, that's what I think. I'm like, oh, look at all that data, reports and things I could sell. I know that's not your world, because you've always been such a kind spirit. Even when you first started Honeyfund, it was just done because you wanted to do something great for people. So what has been the biggest surprise when it comes to data trends that you're seeing?
Yeah, I mean, definitely that Airbnb was really shocked me. The survey also revealed that couples by and large are doing their own DIY honeymoon planning, and they actually really like doing that. It's like part of the experience for them, right? Is to like go through and find the right property or the right destination and read all the reviews. And, it's like a mini vacation. Yeah, to do the research and like find the best deals. And the pain points that they shared were around the cost, which makes sense. Of course, they come to Honeyfund to solve that problem.
Right.
And then, how tricky it can be sometimes to find the right flights was the other big pain point. But I expected more couples to be using a trip planner or a travel agent, especially because it's like the biggest trip of their lives. But it turns out they have a lot of confidence in being able to book it themselves, and they really enjoy doing it. They just worry they might be spending more than they should. So that's where Honeyfund's going to be really focused on as we plan out our booking experience and, honeymoon researching and all that stuff that we're obviously always thinking about better ways to do it for our couples. We're really going to be helping them organize all their DIY fun stuff.
That's incredible. And that's what you're doing now, is Honeyfund is expanding in order to be able to accommodate all of these new kind of trends.
Yeah, so we want couples to be able to get inspired if they don't know their destination yet. We want them to be able to start organizing the experiences they want to have on their trip, gather all their booking information in one place, and then really see, like, what did Honeyfund do for me? Like, I got this much from my friends and family, and then I also got this great deal with, Hilton or somebody that Honeyfund partners with, and like all together, my honeymoon is worth 10 grand, but I only spent 7 or something. You know what I mean? Like, really giving them that like tangible, like, wow, look at what we did together.
What you've accomplished over the years. I remember when we talked a couple of years ago that you said, you never expected it to be like this big. And do you keep surprising yourself? Right? Do you keep like going, holy crap, we just keep like expanding past borders we could have never even imagined when you first thought of this?
To be honest, sometimes I do. I pinch myself, but at the same time, it's a privilege. And just being here for couples and knowing, especially because I went through a divorce, knowing that we're part of their lifelong love. It just, I mean, we get wedding invitations from couples that like write us handwritten notes. We have this email that goes out to couples like a few weeks before their wedding that's just kind of acknowledging the moment of like that. What do you guys call, you must have a name for this moment in the freak out moment right before the wedding where like you just think everything is going to be totally effed up.
Oh
and
yeah.
that you don't have anything under control and like, right.
Yep.
We send this email that says like, hey, you know, we know this can be a stressful time. We know this isn't great for everybody. Some people have gone through things that make their wedding really hard, like the loss of a parent or whatever. Like, we're here for you. Like, just hit reply and tell us what's going on with you. And we get these incredible emails from brides and grooms that are just like, I know that maybe nobody will even read this, but just being able to like write out what's happening right now is so helpful to me. Thank you so much. You know, like, and we read them all. Like,
I know,
it's so awesome. Like, it's the best business ever.
It would be amazing for you to put that data in like some type of, like those letters to me feel like something I feel like event pros should read to understand what couples are going through, because I feel like we get, as event planners, we get a little jaded sometimes on our side, because of course we got things under control, you know, of course, you know, but after going through a wedding myself, I had a whole new perspective of what couples were going through. And I'm like, holy crap, that's a totally different, I would have never ever guessed that this is what I would be worried about, because there's always one little thing that people snatch onto, and it could be, you know, color of the rug or something random, and all of a sudden that becomes the thing that they focus on,
or a particular family member,
right? Or a particular family member. It's like, you know,
like ruining the whole day. Yeah, totally.
But I mean, this would be one of those things that it would be really interesting if you could figure out a way to formulate some of these emails into a way that is like, you know, planning, you know, human relations for dummies or something like that, you know, so that kind of give us some insight into what couples are really thinking about. I mean,
and this program was really developed by some people on my team who have degrees in like counseling and mental health and organizational and like HR's type stuff. And they were just recognizing, you know, what this moment feels like for people. And I love that idea that we could give that back to the industry.
Yeah, because I feel like that would be a really useful tool for a lot of people in this industry, especially people first starting out. I mean, when planners are first starting out, they know nothing. I mean, they just know nothing, and they just kind of steamroll into it. So this would be freaking amazing. So when you're expanding Honeyfund and you're making these connections, and of course you're talking to all the major different brands and what have you, how did you go from having to charge 3% to 0%? Was that because of advertising? Like, how did that end up being accomplished?
Yeah, we have a few different ways. Advertising, definitely a big part of it. Helping couples book their honeymoon, so we're getting paid, you know, commission on those bookings.
Yeah.
Our Honeyfund wallet is our fee-free solution. So couples can keep the money in their wallet as long as they want. They don't have to mix it with their day-to-day checking account and like potentially see that money go away. They can save it. A lot of couples can't take a honeymoon right after the wedding, or something happens to their plans and they have to reschedule. So we're able to just be a custody of those funds for them. And obviously that comes with interest and earnings and things like that. So there's a few different ways we're able to do it. And, you know,
that's amazing.
We just kept at it. We just kept at it until we figured it out.
Yeah. And it's what I love is that what we see here is what you get. You're just this kind of gracious, loving human being. And it's incredible to see that it has continued to drip down into the organization itself. I mean, it really is fantastic.
Yeah, that's why I like talking to you guys, because I feel the same way about you.
Yeah, we love it.
You know, I actually have Honeyfund as one of my affiliates, because I feel like, you know, if couples are really looking for something unique, this is an element that you know, a wedding planner or anybody in the industry, a wedding pro, can add to their repertoire to offer to their clients.
Definitely.
You know, so you're still offering that, obviously. I've seen that on your website. And does that have to go through one particular source at this point?
So if, you know, any vendor is welcome to sign up for our affiliate program. It's on share sale, but you can find it on our website. I think we're at $10 commission right now for a sign up, but always looking at what makes sense there and what's competitive and what serves the vendor and the couple. But really the value that you get as a vendor is just adding to the couple's budget, like helping take that edge off, helping them make hard decisions about money, you know, with a few $1,000 more to help, you know, round everything out. It just makes such a big difference.
Well, I always like to do it because it shows value in the services that I'm already providing, right? Because then I have like one more thing in my own wallet that says, hey, did you guys think about this? Because I think this would be a really fantastic idea for you guys, because then you have choices. Yeah. And not to bring up the sore subject, because you talked about the fact that you went through a divorce. So Honeyfund is figuring out ways to be part of people's journeys, no matter where it leads them. Am I correct in that?
Yeah. So, you know, years ago, we launched a sister site called Honeyfund because people were asking us, like, can we have a Honeyfund for our parents' anniversary, or for this project that we want to do in the community, or the soccer team fundraiser? And this was kind of right before GoFundMe became a thing. Right. And so we were kind of like these pioneers in the world of crowdfunding. So we launched our sister site, but, you know, we didn't really like have a clear strategy around it. And then when the pandemic hit and when we started to really formulate our mission and vision, it became clear that we're here for that couple and they're happily ever after. Right. And that, you know, being able to sign up, you know, for a fundraiser for a soccer team is not really what we're about, right? Unless it's like that couple and their kids and their soccer team and they want to put their honey fund towards that. Great. So we focused everything back on the couple, and we recently just shut down new accounts to Plum Fund, and we're opening up Honeyfund functionality so that you can do what I'm calling the second Honeyfund. So that's you know, the baby moon or the anniversary trip or whatever you have going on in your lives, even a hardship your friends and family already have given to your Honeyfund. They know what it is. They trust it. And it means that nobody else has to go around trying to start a GoFundMe if something happens or you need support.
So does that go more into the marketing? Because, you know, the thing is as you are literally talking and saying Honeyfund, I'm like, well, that doesn't mean honey moon. I mean, honey is a sweet object on itself. Right. And so, you know, Honeyfund, all of a sudden it became a totally different thing to me, because I'm thinking like, oh, it's a sweet fund versus a honeymoon kind of thing, which is an event. And I love that idea. Yeah, like a honey-do list, right? Like I just love that idea of, look, this is a wish thing that, you know, you can have this going on long term, or this is your sweet list for this event. This is your sweet list for that event. That's your sweet list for, and that way people can give and be a part of it.
Yeah, I think about it more in terms of like expanding the use of the word honeymoon and keeping the honeymoon going. Yeah. So we're kind of right now from a PR perspective, kind of, and with National Honeymoon Day, starting to think about a honeymoon as not just the first trip, but all the romantic trips you take throughout your marriage. Aww. And keeping the honeymoon going doesn't mean just going on trips, but it could mean spending special moments together, having the love and support of your friends and family throughout your marriage, having a weekly date night, you know, all the things that kind of bring that spirit of the honeymoon into your daily lives. So that's how I think about the expansion of our services and our, you know, what we're providing couples.
Oh my God, I love it so much. What about like baby moons and stuff? Obviously, I'm assuming that's all
like we're really talking a lot about baby moons internally now, and it's a big trend, and couples are doing it not just like before the baby's born, but like after the baby's born. They're doing it before they start trying to have a baby. Like, you know, you can do it anytime you want.
Well, it's so funny you said that. I actually have like couples that got married that I helped get married, and then at work, because they were involved in their careers, and they're like, now we're actually gonna schedule 2 weeks where we're leaving to de-stress, and we are gonna do what we can to make a baby. I was like, good for you. I don't know if I needed that information, but I'm like, thank you so much. But you know, I'm like, if people are willing to talk about it, that means that it's actually happening out there, that people are having to schedule time in order to do that. And then of course you see on the Today Show and all of these other places about, you know, people's journeys to become pregnant, and how that's becoming a much more talked about thing. And I think what I'm seeing is that all the way across the board, people are becoming more in tune with what their needs are. And this is a great way for them to be able to express their needs in a happy, gentle way.
Definitely.
Right?
Yes, and I think so. No, go please.
No, Marcy, please. I want to hear what you were going to say.
Yeah, me too.
I was just going to say, you know, for somebody who has ever gone through like IVF or anything of that nature, it's a very stressful time for the couple. So anything to do to de-stress, that's essential for the progress or for the, you know, for the success of it to happen. So it's really important to take that time as a couple and reconnect and connect on a really deep level, because your body's going to go through a lot, you know, and as a couple, you're going to go through a lot emotionally. So
I love that.
I think it's important to take that extra little step to go on a you know, like a baby moon or a, you know, pre-baby moon.
Right?
Yeah.
Pre-baby moon. Like, what do you even call that? A baby making moon? Or I mean, like, I mean, that's like what do you, how do you say that politely that everybody goes, oh yeah, good for you. Okay. You know,
I'm going to start working on that. This is one of my favorite things, to make up words, you know, like Honeyfund, we just made that up and now it's a word. So I'm going to make up this word for you, Keith, and I want to get back to you.
That is amazing. I mean, I think that's amazing. I mean, I see that like that's a trend. And so now that we have kids, and I say kids, oh my God, I just feel so old just now. Just kids. But you know, when we're talking about the 20-somethings and 30-somethings, are you seeing people getting married later in life versus, because it used to be 18, 19, 20 was when you got married, then it was 23, 24, 25. Now I'm some of the couples are in their 30s. I mean, I just married a couple in their early 40s. First marriage for both. I mean, I was like, whoa, okay. They waited. They said, I wanted my career. I wanted my money. I wanted to make my life. And then when it was right, then it was right.
Yeah. And I think this gets back to our conversation about non-traditional, right? So
yeah,
I think we've always and will continue to have people getting married in their early 20s.
Yeah.
But you have more people also now getting married in their later 20s, early 30s, late 30s, early 40s. I know a woman who got married for the first time at 75. I mean, it's just, you just don't know when you're going to, and I think that, like you were saying before, Keith, about the self-awareness that's becoming more normal. Like, people know what their needs are and they're willing to act on them and not just be put into what society expects.
Right.
We're going to see more people of more ages getting married for the first time, which I think is incredible. And we're totally here to serve everyone at all their stages.
I think that's just really incredible. Has there ever been a discussion about changing the name Honeyfund into something else?
I mean, many times over the years we've talked about that, and we will continue to. But I really do think that as we think about marriage as this lifelong journey of continually recommitting to that honeymoon, those honeymoon feelings, you know, I like the idea of just expanding the vernacular around it versus changing the name of it.
I love that idea. And any chance for a Honeyfund conference?
Ooh, oh my! I'm so glad you mentioned this. I actually have we are going to be at Wedding MBA this year. I'm going to be giving a talk to vendors on using AI in your business, which is something Honeyfund's been doing a lot of, and it's been tons of fun. We're going to have a big booth, like right across from the other big companies in the space. I'm really, really excited to show up and talk to the industry about, you know, what Honeyfund is, how it can support them and their couples. I think it'd be so fun to do a session on the mental health aspect that we were talking about. I love that idea. I'm going to pitch that to Shannon next year.
I think that would be amazing.
I know. I mean, will you do it with me, Keith?
Oh, duh. I'm there, please. In a heartbeat. Are you kidding? We would have such a good time.
Such a good time.
We may cause some mental health issues.
Don't tell. Oh my God, that's so fun.
Kidding. But, you know,
if somebody who's listening to this today and they're not they're not a wedding professional, but they wanted to do some of the research, is there somewhere for them to go and find the information that you're sharing with them today?
Oh, good.
Yeah, about the AI stuff or about the mental health stuff?
About the lists of things that, like places to visit, what's the newest
Oh
trends.
yeah,
and
all
so
the
Yeah.
forth.
honeymoon stuff is available on the Honeyfund blog. And just go to our website. The blog's there. Our customer service team is phenomenal. They're so responsive. Anybody can email me, Sarah@honeyfund.com. I'm always here and happy to take, make new connections and talk to the industry. So yeah, we'd love to hear from you.
And have you been watching the video portion of it? We've been running it on ticker tape on the bottom throughout
Oh,
the
yes.
show. So,
TikTok,
so
Instagram,
the information is there, but we'll make
Yes.
sure that it's listed in the podcast portion as well. So, and talking about if people wanted to like reach out to you directly, you just gave your email, but like, what are your LinkedIn and Instagram? I'm assuming at Honeyfund for Instagram and TikTok and
Instagram,
Facebook.
Facebook, TikTok. Our Instagram just got verified this year, and we have an incredible social media team that brings such great information. I don't know if you guys heard recently, there's going to be like new passport requirements for travelers to Europe. We're covering all that information. We're talking about mini moons versus longer honeymoons, all those kinds of trends, name changing, like anything that, we feel like couples really are going to be faced having to make a choice. So we try to cover the pros and cons on our Instagram and our TikTok. And it's all at Honeyfund.
That's actually a great one, because like so many people don't realize if you're traveling and you've already changed your name in certain places, but not everywhere, it's going to be challenging for them to hop around.
That's exactly right.
I'm going to make a prediction right here. I think there's going to be a Honeyfund magazine.
Ooh, I love it.
I'm just saying right here, because you've got so much information happening right now that just the amount of what we've just talked about is incredible. And I don't think there's a publication out there that really covers everything that you're talking about, because you're really talking about the health and wellness of a marriage, not only how to get into it, how to prolong it, the legal aspects, the name changes, the long-term health benefits, mental health. I mean, there's a whole world right here that,
Keith,
I
you're
think
thank you. That's a great idea.
Right? I'm just saying 10%. It's good.
I also want to open our own hotel chain, like across the world. Like it's the best all inclusive. It has all the best experiences. It has all the and you can only book there if you have a Honeyfund. So
wouldn't that be amazing? And then people would contribute directly to it. Because then everything could be just like literally on site right there. It would just totally make sense.
Easy.
Oh,
you guys are so fun to brainstorm with. We can cover the whole world together.
I know, right? Well, I mean, you're just easy to talk to. Honestly, you're just one of the most loveliest people, and what you've created just fantastic. And it's one of my favorite things to talk about with new couples. I mean, I just say, look, there's not going to be a more trusted source that you can go to for this kind of thing. I mean, right? Especially now that you don't charge any percentage on that. It's just crazy to me that you were able to get that accomplished. So I'm in awe of you, of the product, of everything. So I just want to say
back at you.
Oh, you're so sweet. All right. I think we've done enough of the kowtowing to each other. Hey, you're so good. No, you're so pretty. No, you're pretty.
No, I love you more.
So if you want to get in touch with Sara, she already gave you the information, but just in case, if it's Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok, check out at honeyfund.com. And I think the LinkedIn is always a little weirder, because it's like linkedin.com/IN/Sara Margulis, right? For you personally. And then for the LinkedIn Honeyfund, is it the same thing, but /Honeyfund?
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Sara, you are a joy. Honestly, we love talking to you. Oh my God. It's like we just picked up right where we left off. It's crazy.
Completely. And I'm so excited to see you at Wedding MBA.
I am too. Oh my God. I'm so excited. I'm taking your course.
All right, let's do it.
I'm going to be there. All right, guys. So thank you again, Sara. And next week we will be back on Tuesday at 2:00. But for now, we're going to say goodbye.
Bye, Marcy. Bye, Keith. Thank you.